Near also is here in this falling wedge pattern. If we move all the way down to $50,000, potentially we come down here, also a really bad sign, my buy zone, to make sure that I will get filled. The market has turned once again to the downside and is creating massive problems for us to go back into higher levels. We need to prepare for lower prices, and yes, there might be the time right now to panic. Guys, welcome back. Let's jump directly into the charts because what's happening here is insane. But I can tell you, if you watch here until the end, I will show you the exact reason why we are going down right now and also the exact levels that I'm looking at for potential buying opportunities and where also we should put our stop loss. So here on the DXY chart, something really strange is happening with the markets overall. The DXY is breaking down as intended from that falling wedge, rising wedge pattern, coming close to the 104.95 points level, and from there I would expect a small bounce and then continuation to the downside. Now, while we are breaking down here, the crypto market is not going up. So what the heck is going on? Usually when the dollar is going down, Bitcoin is going up, and right now Bitcoin is going down with the dollar index, which is really strange. The reason for that is really simple. There is a document in circulation from last week, almost 2 weeks ago now, from the estate of the Mt. Gox trustee, and he has sent a notice of repayments in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. And in a notice, it says the rehabilitation trustee has been preparing to make repayments in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash under the rehabilitation plan. Now that these preparations are in place, the trustee will commence the repayments in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash in due course to the cryptocurrency exchanges with which the trustee has completed the exchange and confirmation of the requirement information for implementing the repayments. The repayments, and now you have to pay attention, the repayments will be made from the beginning of July 2024. And yesterday was again some news coming out where they were confirming they are going to start this week, and that led to the decline in Bitcoin right now. I had a look at the wallet address from Mt. Gox to see if they have yesterday moved any kind of funds, significant funds, and you can see here in the transactions, they moved here 5 hours ago, small test amounts, not even worth mentioning. I guess they were just testing if they're receiving the funds, if they send something to these wallets. These might be potential repayment wallets of some clients. But this was 5 hours ago, so they are just testing potential repayments. They did not send anything yet. And here is the other thing. I believe when they are going to start to repay, Bitcoin might dip a little bit more. But when they see that potentially people are not selling because they held on now for 9 years or something like that to these coins, I think they can wait another year to extract as much value as possible from this bull run instead of selling now and aping into meme coins. I'm not seeing this with these people. They invested a long time ago. They got smarter in due course of time that passed. I have a really hard time to believe that they will go now and straight away sell all the coins that they are going to receive. They might sell a little bit. If you would have had like 500 Bitcoins and you bought them at for $10,000, yes, of course you would sell 10, 20, so cashing $1 million out. But I don't think that they go and say, I sell 500 Bitcoins now, fuck you, Bitcoin, I don't want to deal with you anymore. And that's it. I just don't see it. It would not make a lot of sense. For some people, for sure, that's going to happen here. Majority, I think, are smart investors right now and are not going to do that. And that's why I believe when they really start the outflows, the first reaction will be another drop. And when they see nothing is really happening because of these outflows, price will bounce really hard back to the upside. That is something that I'm watching closely right now, this wallet address. If you also want to watch it, go to Arkham Intelligence and just look for Mt. Gox, and then you will find the address where they hold almost 42,000 Bitcoins. I have already opened a new trade here, a crazy trade, guys, on weeks. Amazing exchange, no KYC, link is in the description. I opened a $10,000 trade to scalp a potential bounce back to the upside. I'm a little bit underwater here, but the bigger trade that I placed is here. That is a $1 million trade that I'm going to open at $56,600. I'm gonna show you in a moment why I'm looking for exactly that specific level. There I want to open a 10x leverage trade to get liquidated. Just that you understand, Bitcoin needs to scratch at the $50,000 mark. And at that point, I have another $100,000 available to put this into the trade to avoid liquidation. And my liquidation price will be at 47 or something. I'm prepared for that. For that scenario, if we would see that. But right now, I'm just getting ready and wait patiently to get my $1 million trade here executed on weeks. Again, if you want to trade this with me together, the link is in the description below and in the pinned comment. Where are we at with Bitcoin? Bitcoin, here on the weekly chart in this couple handle pattern, is right now breaking down this upward sloping trend line and also under the 21 exponential moving average here. Also a really bad sign, because usually if we would now close this weekly candle but below the 21 exponential moving average, it would mean that we are going into a bad trend. I'm not saying this never happened in a bull market before, because also here we broke under the 21 exponential moving average, but we stayed then for quite a while below that, also during the summer. There was like almost 2 months before we came back up and then had our final leg to the upside. Here, I believe this is kind of a Black Swan event because of the Mt. Gox news. I believe without the Mt. Gox news, we would have not seen that kind of move to the downside. And therefore, I believe over the next couple of weeks, even if we close below that level here, we are going to see a move back to the upside. And again, we would still have our cup and handle pattern here playing out. In a worst case scenario, we come down and touch the bottom of the handle and then get a bounce back to the upside. And I'm also going to show you that there is actually also that level. I'm going to show it to you in a moment why this specific level is so important, not here only because of the cup and handle pattern. If we lose the handle, then it will open up the doors to move all the way down into this order block here. And then we are talking about $45,000 to $40,000 as the ultimate bottom before we see Bitcoin reversing back to the upside. It doesn't have to happen, but I'm prepared for it just in case. Now, when we're going into lower time frames, I had warned about the potential that we come down here to liquidate pencil, so that we liquidate here these long positions. And once we do that, we should get a bounce back to the upside, because then all liquidation levels, most of them are gone. There are still some below us, but look at the concentration, you know. So here, there's not much in terms of liquidation levels, and there's so much liquidity above us. So there is you can only go so low before you have to go back to the upside. And liquidity, again, remains to the upside. So it's just a mind game that market makers are playing with us here. Correlation with news events to make it look like coincidental that we are touching these levels. Now, we got a small bounce here already from the $56,800 level, but I believe we can come all the way down to $56,300 and get from there a bounce. So, and why did I put a $1 million trade at $56,600? I just want to make sure that I get filled and not be too greedy and try to nail it here to the exact dollar, you know. So I just want to get in because I think it's a one-of-a-lifetime opportunity to potentially get these kind of prices below $60,000 here in a long time. So that's why I just want to make sure that I'm in the market before it's happening. Also here, the EMA ribbon, we got rejected from there. I warned you about this. If we get rejected, we come to the downside, at least to here, the $60,000 level. If we break that, we go lower. I mentioned that a while back. Now, these levels will act as resistance on the way up here, $61,400, and also the 200 moving average, $65,200. This here is the most important level that bulls need to reclaim in the next coming weeks to continue and resume the uptrend. There is still the possibility that we are completely V-shape recovering this over the next couple of days, next 48, 72 hours. There is a potential for that. But I think it will depend on how the creditors of Mt. Gox are going to behave when they get tomorrow or next week, early next week, partially their Bitcoins repaid. Now on the liquidation heat map, here things are a little bit different, because even though we have not a lot of liquidity directly below current prices, if we move all the way down to $50,000, here we have still some big liquidity concentrated all the way down to $40,000. And that's why I don't want to rule out that there is a potential scenario that we are going all the way down to $50,000, $45,000 just to grab all the downside liquidity here that thought that they are safe. And yeah, just to show them they are actually not that safe. And then reverse it back to the upside. Again, from an attraction point, which is acting as a magnet in terms of price movement, should be again the hottest area here of $72,500 that will eventually getting touched. So now the most important thing for me here is that we are holding $56,700, because here is the last lower low. That was normally here a higher low, but it got now broken by this one here. So now this is still a higher low compared to this one here. But if we move a little bit lower, we would actually break that. So if we are breaking this lower low here, I can guarantee you we will go lower. If we can hold it and get an equal low, or this kind of becomes a higher low, it's fine. We are good. We will most likely chop some for some time sideways and then continue to go to the upside. But if we are breaking here these lows, we are actually in big trouble, guys. Really big trouble. On the daily chart here, you see now why the $52,000 level plays a crucial role that I showed you on the weekly chart with the cup and handle pattern. There is a golden ratio. From this swing high to this swing low, the golden ratio here at $52,000. If we are not getting a bounce from there, we are in big trouble. The last line of defense before we are going all the way down to the golden ratio is the 0.5 level at $56,200. For now, I believe we are going to bounce from there, hence why I placed the $1 million trade just a little bit higher. You know, basically here, that white line. Once we're touching that white line, I'm in, and we should go to the upside. Something else that is also concerning is that in terms of volume traded areas, here is some past price action history that should give us support. But if that is not holding, you see there is a huge gap before we hit again some longer bars. And here is the biggest concentration of prior price history for now, and that is between $42,000 to $45,000. So that's why I don't want to rule out that there is a potential scenario that we come all the way down here, get a capitulation wick, step below the 0.786 level, but then wick back up and resume the uptrend and come slowly back into current price levels. In terms of the Bitcoin correction chart, here really bad that we broke under the downward sloping trend line. Again, that usually doesn't happen. Here, for example, in the past one, we bounced off it. Here we did respect the break of the downward sloping trend line. We never came back. So this is an outlier, guys. This is an outlier. This is not normal. You know, so this is not normal. We should not see something like this. There's, of course, still 13 hours left where we could come back up and bounce to the upside, or by tomorrow. But if that is not happening really quick, also here, again, once we're breaking this low here, things start to look really, really bad. You know, so we got kind of close, but we did not break it yet or create an equal low. On this 4-hourly chart, we are not looking that bad. In terms of indicators, we are definitely oversold, massively oversold. There should come a short-lived bounce to like $60,000 approximately. But if we are getting rejected from there, then again, we are going to resume the downtrend. So here, that is the line, most likely coming back up here. And then we have to see what's going to happen. If we break above that, we continue. If we get rejected, we will head lower, most likely to $52,000. Also here on the weekly chart, I believe we will need another week or two to get a proper buy signal. And you see here on the hash ribbon indicator for the Bitcoin miners, they are about to capitulate. That's why we have here that red face. on the hash ribbon, and we need a blue dot. So we need first here a light green one, and then we need a blue one. It's kind of rare that we get straight away a blue one. So, but either one is fine. You know, if we get a lighter green one and then we get a blue one, that's fine. If we directly get a buy signal, even better. But we need to get that. And you should not forget that here on the weekly chart, this looks like an M pattern. And this M pattern could bring us really all the way down to like $45,000 with a measured move. For that, if we would break here $46,600 and close a daily candle below that, it would be a signal that we'll most likely go down to 45. So just that you're aware of that. So here, even though the global net liquidity is going up, Bitcoin is going down, again, the only thing that makes sense is people are scared about Mt. Gox. That's why it's happening. And the miners are about to capitulate, and we need to get the buy signal, hopefully in the next 3 days. And guys, if you want to trade these kind of trades with me together and altcoins specifically, go to Bybit. I'm trading all my altcoin trades on Bybit. And like I told you yesterday, I have an LDO trade open here. It is, of course, in a massive loss, but I have conviction to hold this, and I only gonna dollar cost average this lower and lower. And if I have to go all the way down to $1, I'm going to do that, because I believe that the return that I will get on this is insane. So if you want to trade altcoins with me on Bybit, go to the link below, and also in the video description you find the link for that. Ethereum also moving to the downside. I warned about this if we lose the golden ratio that we will head lower. Here the next bigger level of support is around the $3,000 mark. Also here I'm going to buy in $100 steps every time when we come to. So what I mean by $100 steps, let's say Ethereum gets to $3,000, I buy a little bit. It goes to 2,900, I buy again a little bit. 2,800, again a little bit. 2,700, I'm going to buy a lot, because I believe it will not go much lower than that. Maybe 2,680 or something like this, then massively back up. So and that is more or less a 15% move from current prices, if we would get that. But here also see what I mentioned. I said here was an inefficiency candle, an imbalance, and this imbalance got now closed. So if you go by imbalance, we should see a reversal now back to the upside from here over the next coming hours. So, but yeah, as it stands currently, as long as Bitcoin is going down, Ethereum will get dragged down. But I definitely gonna open some positions down here at the $3,050 level. LDO, like I mentioned yesterday, if we come here into the area of that green box, I will start adding more to my positions. That's exactly what I did. And the indicators are also showing strength in LDO. So there is a bounce potentially back to at least $2 in the making. So and once we're getting here a proper buy signal in the next hour, I will actually add more to my position for that bounce that is potentially coming here. Then Solana is actually looking really bad right now. We are breaking both downward sloping support lines that were first acting as resistance. Why is my chart so slow? I did not properly connect. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Yeah, regardless, here I also believe that we are really close for a bounce as long as Bitcoin is not moving lower. Also on the weekly chart, Solana is bottoming out in terms of indicators. If it's now loading, let me reload that quick. Near also is here in this falling wedge pattern. My buy zone, if we get it, is here at $4.33, $4.33, and $4.12. If we come down here, we got a nice bounce here back from the downward sloping support line, but indicators on the daily is still telling me that at least on stochastic RSI there is some more downside potentially. The RSI is looking good, the MACD is looking good, and we got a bounce here back into the green support area. But I would also be just wait the next 48 hours before I would make any decisions unless we get a crazy move to the upside. Then another one is injective. If we continue to move down here and indicators showing that we potentially are in for a little bit more downside, here my entry zone is between $16 and $18.50. And here I'm going to stack orders. I'm going to have orders at $18, $17, $16.50, $16, $18.50. This is how I stack my orders. to make sure that I will get filled when we come down here, because I believe that will be a really quick move to the downside, because here's also a prior order block. So that might be really short-lived that we come into this zone and then bounce back to the upside. And guys, that's it already for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure to smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you then again tomorrow.